Good evening, everyone, and I hope you're all having a fantastic Friday night. I hope you're warmer than what we're dealing with over here, but you know what? Temperatures come, temperatures go. Big conversation I wanted to get into tonight, something a lot of people have been asking about, is manifestation. Manifesting change, manifesting things coming towards you. Manifestation ultimately is just putting your energy out into attracting and bringing things towards yourself. The energetic pattern of it is this. You have certain desires and certain flows that work within you. You also have certain habits, certain manners, certain behaviorisms that affect these attracting of things towards yourself. For example, if you're in the habit of going out and pursuing, say, berries on a daily basis, the more that you apply your energy towards that through walking for it, training yourself, and finding ways to bring more of those berries into your life, the more of them you're going to find. However, sitting around and just going, man, I sure wish I had a lot of berries, while very good thinking, doesn't necessarily bring any action behind it. We're going to explain how you bring the action in behind your manifestations. Now, to have something to manifest, you have to have some amount of direction towards a goal, a dream, an objective. You have to have an idea of what it is that you're trying to manifest it. And I find that the better that you can visualize this, the more accurate, the more like what you want you will get. The idea there being is if you can't picture it, how can you ever have it? And there's some things seen about this, like people that win lotteries, there's quite often a similarity in a lot of them, a winner mindset, the ability to bring in that sense of success and victory. And in anything that you're trying to manifest, whether it be a new job, a new home, a new relationship, or a new you have to have that same acceptance of receiving. You have to be willing to allow yourself to bring that change into yourself. You can't manifest anything if you don't have the right mindset towards embracing that new thing that's coming its way. So the very first step is, first off, visualizing so that you can accept it. Having an idea of what it is that you want and picturing it in your mind, picturing it in your heart, feeling for it with all of your being so that you can have a sense of what it is that you're trying to draw towards yourself. Now, this, at the very least, creates the intention, the desire, the want, but now we have to put some energy behind that intention, that desire, and that want. This is where you're going to find a whole long list of different methodologies that people use. Some people like to work in a method of mantras, others prefer ritual or symbolisms, others just like to roll up the sleeves and get at it with the good old elbow grease and personal effort. Whatever methodology you go with, and I'll get into more details of each one shortly here, you just have to make sure that you're consistent with your efforts. You can't half-ass it, ultimately, is what it comes down to. So, if you're manifesting something more by the elbow grease, well, now that you have a goal, now that you have an idea of what it is that you're trying to create, now you have to make every day's actions move in that direction. If you're trying to manifest greater health, well, then that means each day you need to manifest better eating habits, better sleeping habits, exercise habits as well. And those physical actions going behind your intentions allow it to become a day-by-day discipline, a physical action that makes it feel especially real and like you're actually moving yourself on a certain path. The nice thing about elbow grease energy behind manifestation, it's really, really easy to see the results, and that can usually be a strong form of encouragement. It reminds you of what you're capable of, shows you how much more you can accomplish, it pushes you and gives you the hope that you sometimes need to keep moving towards those objectives and keep moving towards those goals. Wow, that's fuzzy. Oops. Anyway, the next methodology we're going to talk about, let's go mantras. Now, mantras are lines or things that we repeat on a regular basis, typically daily, and it becomes a affirmation or a reminder of ourselves and where we're directing our energy. If we're trying to find better work and we're currently at a job that we're not happy with, it's a mantra that usually requires reinforcing that you are worth a better job, that you can find a better place, that you can deserve more money and more income. Again, reinforcing and going along with those intentions set behind it so that you can feel with your words every day like it's a prayer of belief. Going back to sort of that job thing, you've decided that you want to go to school and you want to get yourself a better career path. So your mantra might be something along the lines of, I know I can learn, I know I can grow, I know I can absorb new knowledge and use it to further my own personal interests. And saying this 3, 4, 5 times, just reinforcing it, feeling it, believing it. Some people like to write their mantras out at that book that they just write things over and over and over again. And the act of putting those words out there, of putting those words on paper, it's reinforcing what, again, you believe is your intention and desires, and then it reinforces your belief in those intentions and desires. When using mantras, you have to have faith in what it is that you're telling yourself. If you're telling yourself that you're going to end up looking like Brad Pitt someday, but you're never actually putting the energy into the exercise routine or the discipline required of it, then and you don't have belief in the words thus that you're saying, you're not going to have any yield. But if you say every day, I am going to get fit and strong like my role models, I'm going to follow in their example, and you believe in those words as you're saying them, that should help to create that energy within you, that personal will to reinforce what it is that you're trying to develop there. Now, the last methodology that I'm going to talk about is ritualistic approaches. And I leave this one to last for a number of reasons. I personally don't like working my energy in ritual. I usually do my energy work more as intentional force. And so it's similar to mantras or similar to physical action, where I'm reinforcing my sheer willpower behind what it is that I want or what it is that I want to desire. A ritual is a method in which actions reinforce the belief or desire that we are going for. This is where you see symbolism start to come into play in very powerful ways. For example, certain Wiccan paths strongly encourage using particular colored candles and burning them during ritual in order to attract money towards yourself, or hope for yourself, or love for yourself. Quite often, the symbols of the items that you're using having to be reinforcing what it is that you're creating there. So if, say, you were trying to create a money spell, you'd have a particular colored candle burning, maybe a few coins in and around your altar area, or perhaps intentions written into the side of the candle or on a piece of paper that would be burned during said ritual. Typically, rituals can be, I think, at least minimum 10 to 15 minutes, but can go up to an hour or two if you so desire. And there's numerous different paths and practices from every theology and spiritual walk in the world that you could potentially adopt towards this. What you really want to look out for, though, in this case, is symbolisms. Certain symbols can be reinforcing to the ritual that you have at hand. And whether this be psychosomatic, well, I'm holding a coin, so I must be attracting more money, or whether there is actually energy behind everything, all comes down to personal belief. Regardless, the action of the ritual should give you faith and confidence in what you're doing and reinforce through your spirit of what your path is meant to be, thus pushing you further along by basically programming your subconscious into following the actions that you're laying out through the ritual. Now, if you do ritual work yourself, I'm not going to mess with your rituals. Rituals are very, very personal. If you don't have any real background or ritual practices yet, though, maybe it's something worth looking into through your favorite wizards, witches, or whatever else you have available online, or maybe talking to a close friend or someone that maybe would be willing to show you their methods and their practices personally. And ultimately, as long as you're looking at the ritual as a time of prayer and holding space to get your soul on board with what your physical body is desiring, it should move those energies in the right direction for you and get you moving closer towards your goals and towards your dreams. Now, this is, of course, a 10-minute video basically illustrating a concept that could be talked about for days and days and days, but the big three things I really want everyone to kind of take away are this. When you're dealing with something manifesting, you first off have to have that clear perspective in your mind of what it is that you are trying to manifest, and hope and belief that it is actually worthy, you are actually worthy of claiming it, so that you can first off have a direction and a path to push your energy. Secondly, find a methodology that works well for you, whether it be physical, whether it be mental, whether it be spiritual. Whatever practice works for you, works for you. And there's no wrong answer, really. As long as you feel like it's working you and moving you on the right way and you see the results, stick to it. Thirdly, once you have your methodology and once you have your path, make sure you are keeping to it with discipline and regular focus. if you want to do it every other day, mantras honestly should be daily. Physical action should be daily. Rituals probably not daily because that could get very, very energy intensive. But at the very least, doing it frequently enough that it maintains that reinforcement. The point of discipline is to build habits and maintain them. And it takes about 28 days to build any sort of habit for yourself. So your first month of trying to set a ritual is going to be your toughest time. Your first month of trying to maintain a manifestation is going to be your strongest puzzle. After that first month, if you've done good, it gets easier as you go. The second month is easier than the first month after quitting drinking, and so is the third month. It gets easier as you go, as your habits and your mind, soul, and body start to mesh themselves around the new objectives. As long as you maintain that discipline, keep to the steady practices that you're using at hand, and have that clear perspective on what you're manifesting, you shouldn't have too much issue trying to get things moving along. Don't expect things to happen overnight though. Nothing transpires instantaneously, except for that which is an act of God. Manifesting things ourselves requires us to devote ourselves to the manifestation. We can't just burn up a piece of paper and say we're done. It has to be a true embracing of the energy into your very spirit of being. That way it can become a part of you, and your manifestation can become a part of your life. I hope that answers some of your questions that you might have about manifestations, and if you have more questions, you know I'm always good for it. Shoot me a question anytime. And beyond that, be safe, be well, don't abuse your power, and I hope you guys bring in some amazing manifestations to help move yourselves forward soon. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, be safe, be well.